Well, folks, I'm just getting this in right now from my sources down on the border. I guess you'd call it a little bit of breaking news. Yesterday alone, Border Patrol released 380 special interest aliens. These SIAs are from terror-torn countries. We don't know if they're terrorists, but they're coming from countries that is ripe for terrorism. 380 just released yesterday. I'm told by my sources that in October, they arrested and released 9,000 special interest aliens down on the border. We folks are committing the suicide of Western civilization. It's the suicide of our nation right before our very eyes as we open up the border. And then what? We basically destroy our country from within. Woke ideology, critical race theory, somehow making everyone apologetic for America when we should be proud of who we are, and a military that's being destroyed by woke leaders inside the military. Well, Matt Gaetz was part of a hearing yesterday. He asked about why there's an article out by the Air Force saying that our enemies are scared of our diversity. Come on.
So there's this September 5th, 2023 piece in Air and Space Force magazine, and it's titled in part, "Why Diversity Should Scare the Hell Out of Our Adversaries." And I've never seen the fear in someone's eye when they're confronted with diversity.
Partisan politics never figures into anything.
Okay, never.
Politics never figures into anything? I would disagree with that. Remember this commercial? I mean, you telling me the enemies are scared of our military running these commercials?
This is the story of a soldier who operates your nation's Patriot missile defense systems. It begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms. I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age.
Oh, our enemies are real scared of our soldiers raised by two moms. Come on. We don't need it. What I want are trained fighters, killers, in fact. And I just don't think we're doing that anymore. Well, joining me now, former Navy commander who's opposed to the military's vaccine mandate. May I remind you, 8,000 members of our military pushed out for the vax, only 43 returned. This commander that I'm about to interview wrote an open letter stating how upset he was about this vaccine mandate. He's also running for Congress in Texas. Jay Furman is with us. Commander, great to have you on the program.
Thank you, Grant. Great to be here.
So tell me your assessment of the United States military today, from the vaccine craziness to running commercials, recruiting people. Hey, look at us. We have soldiers who have two moms. Where do we stand?
Well, Grant, I have to say it's a different force than I joined in '92. It, of course, evolves with our population. The United States military is really a reflection of the population in many ways, and it should be. It's an all-volunteer force. But the fact is that the same families serve generation after generation. Really, many of the states that supply our nation's forces are the same ones over and over again. And I would say that the military that I left was in less good repair than when I found it. And I'm sad to report that it's impacted our recruiting and my assessment. It's the morale is down, and I think this was a tough time for everybody. I mean, we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. It's been a tough time for this nation. So yeah, we're less than we were when I started.
So my buddy Mike Garcia, he's a congressman from out in California, Republican, tried to write in one of the greatest pay raises our soldiers would have ever seen. Democrats stripped that out of this latest National Defense Authorization Act. They stripped the pay raise for our soldiers out of there. We can't recruit right now. We're not getting anybody. What do you think it is? Why are we not getting people into the military today?
Well, my anecdotal assessment, I'm part of a lot of chat groups based on my time at the end of my service, when I thought folks should stand up and talk about their constitutional rights to defend religious freedom in the service, defend their medical freedoms in the service. and have a conversation that needed to be out in the open and with leadership and the troops. Yeah, I tell you what, anecdotally, I would say that those families that I indicated are not re-upping. The real stalwart supply of the states that fuel our military, Texas, Pennsylvania, Florida, et cetera, and there are many others, have a different opinion on what our leadership stance is on things like mandates and DEI, to be frank. And so the force is shifting, and I'm not sure we'll catch up because the person that serves our military is a very unique individual, and we need them to be that way for lethality and defense of the freedoms we're talking about here.
Yeah, I think this woke ideology, diversity, equity, and inclusion, more concerned about policies and fairness and equality than they are about killing the enemy and destroying those who get in their path, is one reason why people don't want to sign up. I'm going to play a clip for you. This is the Secretary of the Army. This is why she says recruitment is down. Listen to this.
That constant drumbeat that we sometimes hear about a weak military, a woke military, is a little bit of a negative drip, drip, drip that is undermining our recruiting at a time where we really can't afford that.
Oh, Commander Jay Furman, I bet you didn't know it. It's your fault and my fault that we're not recruiting into the military. Our drip, drip, drip of yelling and screaming about woke ideology.
Well, look, this all-volunteer force is the most lethal in the world in this time in history still. But we do, sense a decline in the enthusiasm to support that. I can tell you, my father's generation who served in Vietnam, great heroes and Americans alike, but it was a difficult military to have a draft army serving in a place they didn't want to be and under duress. So I'm not sure we want to get back to that. I'm not sure I want to be a leader in that military, trying to lead troops that don't want to be there. We work because the pre-selection bias of people that are good at it and want to do it.
I'm going to tell you the old-fashioned join. We're going to teach you a skill. You're going to protect your country. You're going to serve your country. You're going to keep your family and those around you safer. And you get to see the world as well was a great pitch. No longer. Now, they don't have any pitch. The pitch for them is you got a commander-in-chief will turn his back on you. That's why people aren't signing up. Commander Jay Furman, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you for your service. Merry Christmas to you, and good luck on your race for Congress.
Thanks, sir. Take care.
You got it. All right, folks, the government is trying to get you to take another COVID vaccine. All right? But there are other ways to protect yourself. We'll get into that next.